G'day, good morning, good evening. I hope you're well where you sit and listen. And thank you for listening. It's nice to have your company. I've got to squash this. There we go. Today's Merry Christmas. So happy holidays to everybody. Yay. And it's an open topic. So I hope there's some topics that will be suggested because I don't really have much to talk about. I got a little bit of things that have been prepared. I got some news stuff that's happened and a few slides to go through, but there's no real topic. I've saved that for a few weeks' time. So I'll just give it a little bit for the people to get here. So if you want to skip through, you can skip through for another minute. This is a legal cannabis show, and I hope you respect the law as well. So yeah, what else can I say? This is an open topic, and next week is an open topic as well. And then the week after that one is back to the themes again. So I've got a good study coming up on some disease, how to look for diseases and things like that, what telltale signs are, and it's a pretty good study. Very, very good study, actually. It sort of sums up really all the last year's stuff with the HLDV virus and other things, Fusarium, wilt, Pythian, the Mycetes. All right, I reckon that's long enough. I did say blooming 2 minutes for the people who skipped ahead. So I got another 10 seconds, and then I'll start into the start. So it's a bit of boring stuff at the start, like not fun stuff, but I've got some fun stuff coming up. I've got a little Bud Fun thing game we can hopefully play. Righto, that's 2 minutes. I'm going to share screen. Sharing. So this is today's. So there's a few discussions, but there's not many. A few Christmassy stuff. I tried to find a few Christmas stuff. Start off with news. So back to this one. Invite a guest. Not really. That would be good if you suggest. We could nearly have an open stream to invite guests, but it's not really the theme thing. So this is some new stuff. So Pennsylvania lawmakers approved bills to protect medical cannabis patients from DUI charges. So similar to what they've done in Tasmania, they've allowed people to drive whilst it's in your bloodstream, which they should. Makes a lot of sense. That was that Queensland thing I've been passing and I've been promoting for the last few weeks about that as well. They've got a bill up. If you want to write into it at the moment, you can. Here's another thing. Netherlands begin trial to make cannabis fully legal. So it's been around for a while over there, but the drug exists like in a grey area, and the government hope to stump it out with a 4-year trial. So yeah, cannabis has anyway. So good on them. Was that what they were saying? Consumers would be guaranteed of high quality products, whereas before it was impossible to know where it came from. So that's just brilliant. They want the product clean, tested, pesticide free. Really, really good start. So it sounds like they're doing it all the proper way now. Next. This is pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that nice looking koala. Hello, koala. Australia exports 3,300 pounds of cannabis. Germany imports from Jamaica. Who needs the UN? This says here, UN drug treaties. So it's just mega sad that Australia has to go and export and import a lot when they just haven't regulated things. What's the summary of this? Rotation trends. Cannabis stock, international trade. It's all about money, isn't it? It's so sad. It's not about blooming health. Conclusion. The ODC provide a comprehensive overview. Yeah, very good. While international trade flourishes, a cautious approach to export highlights the regulatory emphasis on meeting domestic patients' needs. Yeah, but this won't happen. Like, that's all they do is they say this is what should be happening. We all know that, but enforce it. No, because money's too important. We need to make money and get all the taxes. All right. Oh, good, into some positive stuff. Actually, there were some other slides I showed before this one. Here we go. Into this. Still on the negative. Sorry about that, but oh well. Get rid of the negative and into the positive. So this is the medical cannabis in Australia, their flower imports and exports from 2022, 2023. So the blue is the imports and the gold is the exports. So the exports, well, that's only a money thing. So it's sad. And they've got to import it, but all these imports sit in the customs for a duration. It doesn't come through. It's not like in oil. It's in a dried product. So it depreciates and degrades. And it's sad. All the medicinal qualities are quite lost. They don't know that, do they? Because it's all about blooming money. What's this say? So Australia already has the largest medical cannabis market in the world. Yeah, because it's so legal. Oh, no, anyway, the evolution period. What's something good to say in here? Yeah. In 2022, Canadian producers exported 26 tonnes of flower to Australia. Why can't the government here just make it easy? I'm not going to go into the politics. So how do you expect the Australian market to evolve over the next few years? Good question. I don't want to get into it. It's just beating your head against the wall. Oh, and here's the interesting stuff. So what do you think about this? So this is on my LinkedIn stuff. So expertly grown, expertly cured, and expertly curated, providing the best for Australian patients. So this is a cannabis company that's gone, and Australian cannabis company that says they're the best. And then look at the photo. I commented on two things under this. It just goes to show the education that's blooming needed. So you can see on the back wall the shadows. So they got some sort of light. So that's depreciating the cannabis in many ways. Light's one of the things that gets rid of the sesquiterpene? No, the monoterpenes. It's really C10s. It's really sad. And the second thing was, where's the senescence? So look how dark green this is. So that's going to retain all its nutrients. So it's not going to smoke as clean as it should. But yet, it's expertly grown, expertly cured, and expertly curated, providing the best for Australian patients. I feel sorry for Australian patients. This is what you've got to put up with if you can't grow it yourself. What's been said under here? Oh, look, brilliant. Whole plant hang. Wow. So soon to be enjoyed by expert and amateurs alike. Looks amazing. Yeah, buddy, well done. Now to get those aromatics through this platform where it's the button. So all these positive things to say, you know. Anyway, next. So yeah, you take one or the other. Which one? Why use that when this works? Yes, it's a cost factor. That's right. Forgot about that. Beginning to look like a Christmas tree. It's just a nice little bowl of keef and a bud that's been decorated. Merry Christmas. Nice tight bud too. Looks pretty good. Oh, and here's the politician in what's the legalised cannabis party in Australia and Western Australia. He's put out a Christmas card. I want to know how to get rid of the middle one. But yeah, this is pretty cool. And if I zoom in, it zooms in with this middle one, so I'm not going to zoom in. But good on him. At least he's trying. This is a slide that I found I thought pretty good. So it's the Egyptians used cannabis for glaucoma, inflammation, and enemas in 12,000 BC. And here's because this show mostly goes to the states in North America, Canada, the states where sales tax on medical cannabis. So the dark green is where there's none, and the light green is where there is sales tax. And then the other ones is where it just doesn't exist. There's no program at all to have it. So yes, no taxes, very good. It's legal there anyway. This is something to do with Australia. So Pentington Institute report launched Cannabis in Australia. It provides accurate and up-to-date data on Australian trends, attitudes and approaches in relating to both medical cannabis and illicit use. So it's now available free to download. pentington.org.au. Oh, and this isn't cannabis related, but it's health related. And I found it pretty interesting because a lot of these products these days, they're coming out with all formaldehyde and all different aromatics that you smell after it takes a while for that to volatile or vaporize off, like new products. And here's some plants that you can put up, some air plants that will absorb those things. So if you're living next to factories and things like that, you can surround yourself with these types of stuff and, yeah, try and enjoy some healthy air. Sorry, it's non-cannabis, but I thought this is pretty cool. Good old Phillips are trying. I don't get sponsored or anything by them, but they're trying. Look at the tree. Merry Christmas. So that's another good little article for them to sort of promote or things. But it was pretty hard when I went to look up cannabis Christmas trees. There's not many that I found. So, yeah, that looks very nice. Still in a pot. This is a mutant. This is a pretty good, actually. There's some more stuff to talk about before this, I think. I'll go through a few more of these things. So I should see if there's been any questions or any g'days or anything. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Good on you, Mace. Nice to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Aaron, how are you, Aaron? Nice to see you, mate. Aaron says, good morning, everybody. How interesting you started out with the Queensland driving subject. Aaron says he sent his application in earlier the week and just got 3 days ago. I went positive to my second roadside. Just 3 days ago, I went positive to my second roadside. Damn, that's a shame. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. Test, which means loss of license for a minimum of 6 months. And he'll lose his jobs as well. There you go. Nice bloody law. So because he's going to use his medical cannabis, he can't work now. Fair income. That's what Brian Walker had, that fella I showed before. He did an article on that a few weeks ago on someone who the same thing happened. That's just despicable. This is what the Australian government's about. It's so damn pathetic. And now there's nothing. So the cops will just pull him over. Yep, you're not allowed to drive, mate, because you've been drugged. But it was his medicine. Mate. That's just so, I don't know. It's not really, we all know what it should be. Those folks who've used it, you know, if you used it from eyes open till eyes closed and need it for medicine, it has different effects on the first time, or those users just have it on the weekends. It's that's the whole reason why I moved to Canberra, to the ACT, mate. Yeah, look, he's a legal medical cannabis, criminal now. So he's a legal medical cannabis. That's a good title. That's thanks to the Australian government. That's pathetic. So that's why I had to, move all the way, anyway, for that blooming reason, because of pathetic laws. That's just a shame. What else can be said about that? We should change the topic, I reckon, and go to some Christmas trees. Let's go to some Christmas trees. Where's some Christmas trees? Jeez, sorry about it. Here we go. I got some right here. All these buttons. So that's the fasciation mutation. This is a cross between Humulus plant, and I was talked about last week about the future in cannabis, and this is the Humulus plant which is crossed between cannabis. So they've actually done it's in the same family, the Cannabinaceae family, but they've just blending and mixing things, because that's the future, grafting and crossbreeding. Hey man, how are you? He's feeling good. Mr. Koala sleeps 23 hours a day. probably more now. They've got that terrible, that might work good for them, because they've got that, most of them have that bad disease in them, the poor things. This is a simplified version of why cannabinoids work well with the human body, because we've got our receptors here, and then there's a receptor and the signal. So this is like an immune cell, and this is a neuron. So it's to get the signal across to the immune cells to start its activation, you need something, and cannabinoids fill that gap. They exactly fit into the receptors there and unlock the signal pathway so it can continue. Just a simplified version on why cannabinoids, in plural, quite a few, CBG, CBC, THC, CBN, how they work so well. Christmas trees, here we go. It's a bit of nice little decoration. Or Aaron's put something. I'll just, that's not what I wanted. Here, you stop screen that one. Aaron's put a bit of an update. So he says, the policeman told me to stop taking my cannabis medicine. So I went to my normal doctor to get back on the opioids and other pharmacy medications that my cannabis replaced many years ago. Holy hell. That's putrid. He would not prescribe any other medications and told me to just take Panadol, which you buy over the counter, which is like a kick in the teeth virtually. This is like, what? We're not in Africa, like where you'd expect this type of poor treatment. We're in Australia, mate. What I'd do, Aaron, I'd go to a different doctor, fair income, and I'd report that doctor to the Australian Medical Association. Because that's not Australian-like. It's pathetic. Hey, Ned Kelly, nice to see you, mate. Yeah, Ned Kelly agrees. That's putrid. Wow, so for starters, the cop went and become a doctor and said, you have to stop taking your medicine. So, okay, the cops are now doctors acting as doctors in Australia. That's just, who gives them the right to do that? And then they'll be I hate that sort of stuff where it's just unjust, mate. It's just, this is why I just so loved Canada. It was so normal. These types of remarks and comments don't come out because it's hypocrisy. It's just, I don't know, it's just a bit backward. I feel so sorry for you, mate. Yep, Aaron agrees. Trying to live it. So now he's lost his blimmin' license because he was a medical cannabis patient. And then the doctor said, oh, no, we're not going to give you your opioids you used to have. You're just going to take Panadol, mate. and then wonder why he's going to develop some sort of mental problem because of how backwards the system is. Wow. Sorry, Aaron. Good story. Thanks for letting us know your story, though, mate. It just re-emphasises the point to why things should be changed, and the sooner the better. Wow. Where do you live, Aaron? Don't say specifically, just generalised. Sounds like you're up there in Queensland somewhere. All right, I'll get back to what was it up to? I know. Well, Aaron's just comment. I agree that a new cannabis patient that needs to find out the correct dosage and effects. Right. I can kind of help you with that. It's, yeah, you're up there north. I agree that a new cannabis patient that needs to find out their correct dosage and effects. You remember that chart I showed a while ago on how long it lasts in your system? So then it's in your saliva. So that's where they test for. So you just want to, I don't know, work within the law or something. I can't really elaborate. But yeah, that's putrid. Yeah, please ask some questions if you want, and I'll try and help you if I can. Because that's just putrid. Yeah, Blinky. Victoria sucks too, Aaron. If you're rural especially. God. Yes, where you can now have personal amounts of any drug without persecution. ACT, mate. That's why I moved to the ACT. And you can have, it actually is any drug, which I don't agree with. You can have all sorts of other little personal possession amounts of things I don't agree with. But the ACT, mate's about the only way. And I spoke to some cops there, and they said, two of them, they said he smokes, one of the cops said he smokes recreationally. And I was amazed that a cop in a uniform, we just got on the subject talking about it, and he said that. And I'm just like, whoa, man, this is weird. And then his partner goes, yeah, it's so good now it's legal because they don't have to go writing all these tickets all the time. And, oh, I thought I was in Canada again. It's bloody excellent to hear. But, yeah, it's a shame it's not everywhere in Australia, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. Oh. Sucks. Good story, though. Thank you for sharing it, Aaron. Here how. So this is something that was recently put in, that Parkinson's. There's new research that therapeutic potential of CBD and CBG in Parkinson's. A friend too, Brian, he said his Crohn's disease, he got rid of from CBD and CBG. He was saying that went to his doctor, and his doctor said, no, you've never had it. And his comment back to the doctor was, you're the one that first told me about it, that I have. And then the doctor searched back through his records and goes, oh, wow, you did have it pretty bad. And now he got rid of his Crohn's disease because of these two drugs that he had. I don't think there was THC that he said, but I think he said these two. I'll have to ask him again, but those two especially too. So now they find it works good with Parkinson's, like Michael J. Fox. And Michael J. Fox has been an advocate for medical cannabis for, 20-odd years, 25 years? I spoke about it a few shows ago. And now they're finding that Michael J. Fox isn't full of it. It does actually work well. So some findings, that the effectiveness on the individual compounds, how well they work, the combination treatments, maintenance and motor benefits and the actions, and the molecular changes. Well, the conclusion are it just works. I'm not going to really read that out. All these studies are finally coming to now people are believing it because they've got to do it in studies, which is fair enough. How's this? How cool is this? CBD-infused tampons are a promising option to treat menopause. How rad is that? So this would have been good for last week's show, for about what's happening in the future. They're starting to input all of these THC and CBG into different things that we use. What a bloomin', whoever did that, they'll be charging top dollar for them, and then chicks will be buying them. It's brilliant. Very good innovation. I wonder who did that. It'd be in the States for sure. But yeah, CBD is legal over the counter. So anybody can nearly go and, I wonder if you can nearly do it yourself, because it is like a wicking agent. So if you went to put in, if you were to dilute your CBD into some carrier alcohol and drop it in drops, it would be infused into them. There you go, for the people that can't afford those probably $10 each units. Here's something fun for the holidays. Some cannabis-infused chocolate recipes. So first you've got to know your edibles amount. So how I do that, I put it into my oil, and then I'll take 2 mils of the oil, and then I'll wait for the up to 2 hours until it works. And then I go, okay, this is doing this and that. And then I'll take that. I want to find how much puts me to sleep. So the following day I'll take 3 mils and then find out, oh, I've got to have a bit of a nap for a while. So I know that 3 mils is too much for me. So I'll go back and put 2 mils into each item that I want to do, as an example. And if you want to know exactly how much milligrams you've got in per item, you can go to this calculator and work it back. So if you know your stuff's 26%, for instance, that's 26 milligrams. So out of 1 gram, it would be 260 milligrams that you'd know we'd have. So you can work that back into your equation and work it out. Good fun. Where's the recipe then? He hasn't even got to the recipe yet. There's the US, and then there's the metric. So it depends how strong your butter is, or whatever you're holding your oil in. I don't usually do it in butter. I do it in oil. I talked a few shows ago about extractants and extractions and things like that, if you want to go and look. There's the method. I'm not into cooking much, but I'll just put it here so you can see if you want to pause it. Look back later. Here's some bought ones so you know how much you can put in yours. They charge top dollar for these infused chocolates too. I mean, like $8 and $10 for a chocolate, for like one of your chocolate bars. A hang of a lot of money, and you know how much it is for your oil for 1 mil. It's not much, because that would be, so if I had 1 mil of my oil and it was 26 milligrams, 260, it would be 260 milligrams for a mil. So that would go infused into the whole of the 30 mils. So it would just dilute then to 26 milligrams if it was in 10 mils. Next. Oh, the role of cannabinoids in pain modulation in companion animals. This was a rad study. I'll end with this though, I think. Oh yeah, I want to see how long Parkinson's disease lasts, like in your body. And it says about after 10 years, most people will have at least one major issue. When Michael J. Fox has had it for 25 years, and because of the medical cannabis, he's still kicking on good. Look, how long has he had it? Oh, age 29. Anyway, let's get back into the topic. There was this role of cannabinoids in pain modulation. That's how I was going to end. That's right. So we're still up to the Christmas thing. Look at this. Look at this fella. That's blimmin' Joe Biden, loving it. And see, he's got a different smile too. He knows. He blimmin' knows. I was quite amazed at that. I thought, wow. Yep. Just all of Australia just doesn't want to know about nothing, the politicians. But yet everyone overseas just knows the implication. He gets taxes and all sorts, but Australia's just too whack. Look at him here. Does it smell? Oh, man, that's got some sort of funk to it. Oh, yeah, he loves life. He's loving life. Yeah, I just smoked some. Now look at me. Woohoo! Because that's what it does. It makes you happy. Most of the times, if you get the right sativa, doesn't make me like that. Here's a nice little freshly made Christmas tree. So that's just taken. That's just for the photo, because you don't leave it like that. Would get pretty moldy pretty quick. There you go. Happy holidays to everybody. I like how the branches are put, because they sort of act like the decorations. Pretty cool. There's one there, another one. And looking at that leaf, I don't know if I'd be too happy. I suppose it is uniform, but that's a little bit of HLDV. Oh, and for those who were tuned in regularly, remember a few shows ago with the HLDV where Yield Source came on and he showed his plants, and then I suggested to get a test for it. It tested positive. His $4,000 Chimera plant did test positive for HLDV. So it's just a bit of an update for you, just from the symptoms, from going through and looking at it. It's mate, it's, yeah, if you haven't got big buds, that bud there is about 3 fingers wide if I hold my hand behind it, which is all right. If you've got 2 fingers or less upon harvest, that's one telltale sign that I've noticed is very easily to see if you've got it, if it's latent in your plant. Sad times. This is a nice episode. Yeah, look at that. Miniature Christmas trees even can be had. Little baby one. Chiquito. Very cool. And this said that was a Christmas tree, you know, the pine trees that they take it from. And this is to look at the roots underground. So you can see it goes down here 3 meters, 6 meters, and 9 meters. Or, what's that, 3 meters? Is how many feet? Oh, this is testing me. 10 feet, 20 feet, and 30 feet down there. So yes, this is a nice lateral branching. You can see it coming off from its primaries. Pretty cool. Beginning to look, oh, that was the one I showed before, like a little Christmas tree and some bowl of keef. Wow, that's pretty strong. Look at that. Here's today's, and this is nice. Look at that. It's Christmas time, so why not celebrate Christmas with some beautiful looking nugs? This is some Cherry Cosmo. Extremely good bag appeal, well manicured. It's unfaultable. Bit of stem if you have to fault anything, but that's acceptable actually. But, yeah, but anyway, that's pretty good. Oh, and get a load of that. You thought the last one was good. What? That's insane. That's got all the rainbows. Beautiful. Very nice. And actually the next one. Here you go. What would you choose from left to right? What do you like? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? What numbers would you choose? There's 1, 2. 2 looks, yeah, they're all quite distinctively different. This is that light color, which is usually pretty good. This is a little bit darker green and it looks a little bit hairier. Could indicate PGR, but there's not enough hair for that. This is a good medium, and as you can see, it's nicely aged because of all of the ambers, or the pistils have all got nice dark and red. This one's had its anthocyanins brought out in it, so it's always good bag appeal and a bit of extra health for those persons who extract, especially. And look at the frost factor; that's very high. And this one's similar to the first one. It's nice light green, also with the bonus that you know that that has bud maturity on it. Don't know if the plant did, because you have to see the plant, but at least you know the buds have matured properly. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. What would I choose? All right, and then I'll go and stop and then I'll see if anyone's written anything. I've got what I like out of that. All right, I'll stop and share, see if anyone's written anything. Oh, Nick Kelly says number 4. Yes, definitely. Oh, really? Everyone's got number 4. Nick Kelly, Aaron. All right. Nice to say hello to Small Tubes. Welcome, mate. It says menstruation. Okay. Men, I think that must be wrong then. It's menstrual cycle or something. I'm poor at English, so I don't know if that even means good. But I know it's a menstrual cycle. Yes, number 4, you reckon? So the anthocyanins, the crowd favourite. So we'll go back to it's number 4. Yes, you can't go wrong with that. It's nicely aged. It's temperature. And remember, I made a video on that. So if you grow and you want to bring out your anthocyanins, you can do it every single time. Just by a temperature thing. I did a long experiment over a couple of years and posted the results. What do I like? Well, I like that. That's pink death bubba has that characteristic. So and that's expressed more so from the death bubba side because that brings out its anthocyanins just with a little bit of tweaking. The light green's always nice, and I like the bud maturity because I like the strong couch lock type of a hit, not the floaty around sort of euphoric hit. So I know that would give me that, and that's oh yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so probably them. Definitely them. That dark, I don't know. It might be something else. I wouldn't be jumping for it first if I was in a dispensary and had this choice. That dark, I'd like to open the bud, and if it's green, if it's a dark green, that means they've dried it a bit too fast, or they haven't dried it properly, and it's retained some of its nutrients, so it's chlorophyll. So I wouldn't be striving towards that one. That might give me a bit of a throat hit. Which I don't want the throat hit. Why isn't my tablet opening up? There we go. I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah. Aaron says, oh, okay. Aaron says, number 1 for brekkie, 2 morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner. Oh, mixed them all in. That's where I like to do. Same thing in Canada. I used to have multiple, well, I can't really, so I have multiples. So you have, one doesn't do me because I get usually immune to the same cultivar over within 2 weeks. So I have to have, say, 5 selections. And that's what I do, Aaron. I'll go in the morning and smoke the stuff that's not so strong, which is just, it still gets me there, but it's not so strong. And then I'll slowly, and then usually the next one after that's just strong as, and then I just stay on that the whole day till my eyes closed. Yeah, and different things for different occasions. And use it as a proper medicine. It was fantastic. And Gorilla Glue, that used to get me, so my heart rate used to go up and it used to make me feel unease. So I used to mix it. So I'd blend half of that with something else. And that would be a session. That used to energize me and get me motivated to an area where I want. Quite good. What's the next slide? Keep going. So there's a fight here between cannabis and hemp. And it says here, hemp versus cannabis, hemp economics and the marketplace. Oh, okay. Don't know what that means, but that probably should have been taken out somehow. But yeah, that looks pretty cool though. All it is this is THC below 1% or 0.3%. That's the only difference. Nice leaves. All right. Hey, Mountain Man. How are you, Mountain Man? Peace to everybody. Thank you, too, for the $5 who support. $80 gets you private playlists, which is about probably at least 15 of them. $150 gets you a 20-minute call and a novelty gift, like a chart or something that I made. And $300 is a weekly call. And that's more so for a person who who's going through doctor's problems and wants my educated opinion, because I'm not a doctor, or a company going through startup and wants some of my thoughts and ideas. Can of jobs, entrepreneurships in cannabis. How can these cool folk make money out of the stuff that we all love? I like that one because it's got some some cool graffiti. It's yeah, and there's not enough of that. They try and outlaw it in Australia, and I don't like that. But yeah, people should be making jobs out of it and trying to, because it's needed everywhere. And they want to sign writers and stuff, etc. They want, and many of them can do good graph. So yeah, pretty cool. Next, the health folk. So if you use healthy people, you can get all your berries on this nice leaf, and the nutritional value of the cannabis leaf is quite high. I do have it somewhere. If you'd like that info, you can ask me and I'll share this, go and look for it. But it's quite high if you want to use it like that, the green leaf, and put it in a blender with everything else. Like suggested in this photo, they might put one of those leaves in with this mix, make one extremely yummy, nutritional drink. This is for the folk in the States. So if you want to work in cannabis, you can go to the United Green and get some canna jobs. For the folk in Australia, good luck. This is a positive slide. That's what it's titled. I've titled it positive, and it's accept yourself unconditionally. It says, you are a good person. You deserve to be happy. Yes, so accept yourself unconditionally, regardless of what's wrong, and regardless of what the blooming law tries to say. And yes, Australia, remember, we're coming up to legalisation, so you can say it's in a grey area, and in the grey areas, things are in the grey. So it depends upon the officers that you'll probably deal with. If they're old school, and if you give them shit, they'll probably try and throw you, do the worst. But if you try and if you're not like that, you might be able to get off somehow, or medicinal. So I know that my things from the doctors and my prescription stuff, and that's on the A4 size, so I keep them handy. So if there's ever any dramas, I can just go and show that. So at least it's medicinal. Because remember, like Joe Biden, he's gone and squashed all of the legal people who have got busted for cannabis in the last few years. He's gone and gotten rid of thousands and thousands of convictions, so that the Australian government would have recognised that and know that it's not that serious. So there is that grey area. I still say respect the law, but next slide. Merry Christmas. He's a nice looking Santa with his spliff. That's got tobacco in it. So yeah, but still, he's still happy. So that's the main thing, isn't it? Especially around Christmas time. There's another fella. Look at his nice looking keychain. These things you can do for jobs, remember, entrepreneurships. You can make this sort of, it just looks whack, but someone will buy it because it's not available yet. Well, look, they probably just got to put a brooch on a hat and put an extra zero on it and put it on the selling sites, and someone will buy it because it's not available. These little cartoons, it'd be good as stickers. So if you can make those types of things, put them as stickers, and who knows? I don't know how you'd sell them. Etsy. Oh, and that's the Santa Claus that I want in my area. Hey, I've been good this year. Come over my way. Okay, yes, I will. Thumbs up. Yes, it'll be all right, wouldn't it? And here's a little Santa note, and the Santa's reading. It says, "Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is weed." Like us all. And if we've used weed for many years, like I've used it all my life, nearly for the last 30 years plus, I didn't know when I was younger how medicinally beneficial it was, and why my body and why I was drawn to it so much. And now I understand is because it has so much medicinal relief for the types of problems that I have inside my body. This is a nice shopping cart. Go, where's that store? The little baby dispensary, you can push a little trolley cart around like. Actually, if I put if you're interested in seeing the dispensary in Canada, one of my videos was, I filmed that. I asked the operator if I could film it over in BC, and they said, yeah. So I filmed it. So you can see inside of the dispensary in Canada. There's a nice, oh no, sash, I think. Oh, that nice round thing that goes on people's doors. They've done it a bit, they've infused it. So you can also make them too. Oh, I had some, what's Aaron said? A superfood. Yeah, that was a health thing. Aaron says, yes, he was polite, straight up. That's good. 30 plus years for Aaron as well. That's the way. Must be about the same age. And this is cool. This is a microscope picture of some tardigrades and around a Christmas tree. Even microbes know how to celebrate the new year. And these tardigrades, I think the tardigrades, they're the only things that survive in space out of all of the microbes and stuff. Don't quote me on that, but I vaguely remember something on that. Cool little, what are they called? Not polar bear, something. Some little bear of the microbes. Can't remember. And I had to put this in because I don't know if you've seen moose, but they're humongous. They're massively, my chest was up to here. These legs were 5 foot. So this is definitely old school. And you can see, I was fair dinkum amazed. Like, wow, to tame a moose, let alone to get close to one. Oh, here's a good story. Yeah, I'll tell you. When I lived in the Yukon for 2 winters, and I used to like going out and hiking in the snow, and I climbed a mountain by myself once, and I was shitting my pants because up there was these prints that were big hoof marks, and I was warned about not the grizzly bears or the black bears. I was warned about the moose because they kill more people than the bears do because they trample you. With bears, you can get rid of them pretty easily by rocks. I used to use rocks. But still, these were scary. So I was more so on the lookout for them. So I filmed it, and then I got back and I showed some friends, and they're just all laughing at me. And I said, what? And they said, that's rabbit tracks. So I was like shitting my pants, like, because I had to walk on the ridge of this mountain to try and get up it, because I didn't know it's going to come up and one of these big things that come around the corner and just, they trample you. It's funny. So I was amazed that this fella is, yeah, that's brilliant. I don't know why people don't do it either. It's terrific. Oh, here's the cannabinoid receptor thing, the easily understood immune cell and how the cannabinoids link neurons and cells together. So I'm not going to, I'll just say the key points. So it's how focusing on fascinating aspect on the human body, how it interacts with cannabinoids, because we have an endocannabinoid system. So the pervasive reach of CB receptors. So it's a little known fact that CB receptors integrate. I'm not going to read all that. You know the CB1, CB2, how they react with THC, and then the other different ones that work with CBD. I hope you do. From watching this show, you would have. And the endocannabinoid system is a key immune modulator. So that's one thing they found positive. So you get cannabinoids in there, and it can modulate can regulate your immune system. CBGA and ECS balance. So they found what's that word starts with H? Heterosis. No. The not hybrid vigor. I'm doing a bit of plant stuff at the moment. You know, when the body is in harmonious state with yourself, it's in the mental block. Well, that's what it does. CBGA, their finding helps work with it. Implications on health and research, and it's crucial in developing treatments. That's why they've used it for 6,000 years, been documented for. That's it for there. Go back to here, and here's a rad, the study of the role of pain modulation in companion animals. So they did some extremely, this is, if you got pets, this is really, really good to watch. This study that you go through, there's the DOI there. So you put that in, or if you just put the PMC in up here, this number up here. Actually, I'll drop this in the description box underneath today's show, because this is pretty important, because it gives you levels of what they've tried and what they've found works and what doesn't, on how many milligrams of certain things work with that. That's all I'm going to go into that bit, because it's an in-depth study. Should I show the figures then? Maybe I'll just show the figures. Here we go. So I want to blow this out. So this shows the pharmacological form. So CBD oil. Here's the dose, which is extremely important. Tells you how many milligrams per kilo and what rate they gave it at. Then they can evaluate it and see what happens from it. The species over here is dogs and cats. That's the species. There's different pets. So if you go down, next page, more dogs, in different ways that they've applied it, and at different rates. You can see how it works. Down to a 1:20 ratio. So THC 1:20 ratio CBD. So 1 milligram THC, 20 milligrams CBD in a blend. And you can see how that works as well. Let's see how. There's a few of these. You don't want to know about how it interacts. The dog's body, they've got an endocannabinoid system just like we have. There's another one. So the clinical studies of the use of CBD in chronic pain modulate in dogs and cats. So this is just one page showing different oils and the dose rates that they've done over a period of a few weeks or a few days, and the outcomes. And they're all positive. So if your dog or companion animal has problems and you've got access to more so oil, you know oil's very easy to make. Just use a slow cooker. I'd be advising to go to here. One friend in Canada did it with his dog and said that it lasted it prolonged the life. So it held the cancer cells at bay every time he gave the dog the oil. The conclusion, the study of the endocannabinoid system, the evidence suggests that cannabinoids can be used in veterinary medicines to treat acute, chronic, and neuropathic pain due to their ability to prevent peripheral and centralized sensitization. However, since the endocannabinoid system is a signaling pathway that regulates several actions, its interactions with different endogenous ligands and transmitters can have beneficial effects on patients suffering from seizures, contact and atopic dermatitis, epilepsy, degenerative, and many, many other things, as you're already aware. It's nearly every aging problem cannabis can help through the endocannabinoid system, because we're all going to go through problems before we die, and it can help. So that's the trials. It just found that it's true. And let's just read the full-on conclusion. According to the trials, it is a potential analgesic drug for chronic pain control in companion animals, although it seems to have a dose-dependent fashion. That's why I went through the amounts that you need per kilo and how much you should give, because, Same with humans, need dose dependent. These results show the importance of studying cannabinoids and the effect on the systems and the expression and the role it plays in companion animals. And it will be a potential field of study for veterinary medicine to other health benefits and well-being of future patients. Well, it's just this, that's really a conclusion of cannabinoids or medical cannabis in humans and mammals. Dog's a mammal, yeah, and just how it works. It's just so. That's it. That's it for the Christmas special. How long have we been going? What can I share? Just reading a bit here. 30+ to fix rules. You need to change them. Aaron says to fix the driving rules, the TGA needs to change the word days to hours. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, if you're talking about, yes, if you smoke some, it will be in your saliva for 4 to 6 hours. So if you are driving, if you smoke, at 12 p.m., you expect it to test positive at 4 or 6 p.m. that day. That's the minimum. And because it retains in the fat cells, if you're possibly more fatter or chubbier, it might retain more and hold in your cells longer. So it's, yeah, that's a humongous consideration. Yeah, ask some more questions on that, Aaron, because I'm pretty familiar in how that works if you want. But yeah, it's, what can I suggest for that even? Without getting myself in trouble, probably a word. Hopefully there'll be some, you can, hey, Atomic Spoon, how you going, buddy? Nice to see you, mate. Today was a good thing on, you missed a bit on companion animals. If you've got companion animals, there's a good study that shows the effects on that, on dose rates, which is extremely important because they're so small, even like humans. A friend did a test on his family, and he with some oil, and he found that his older relatives, his grandparents, that they were taking under 10 milligrams and getting still a decent effect. So it does depend on your body makeup and to how things will be absorbed, and body of the dog or your cat too. If it's fatter, you might have to give it more. It goes on a kilo rate, like anesthesia. That's why they ask you how much do you weigh when you go to hospital. So you've got to do up your things on that. Yeah, poor Aaron. Feel sorry for you, mate, about the driving. The only thing that there's nothing. You can go to Tasmania. In Tasmania, you're allowed to drive at the moment. I wouldn't be pleading guilty to that. I would be going to the court system and pleading not guilty under the fact that it's medical use, and you can use this precedence of the Tasmania have already made this a law set in place that for this instance, you'd like the lenient, most minimal penalty that the judge can possibly allow upon those reasons. That's how I'd word it. I've been to court a few times. I had some problems back in the days. Yes. Aaron says, a legal medicinal cannabis patient cannot drive for 5 days after their last dose. That's a load of shit. Aaron goes on to say, this is a misprint, and it should say a medicinal cannabis patient cannot drive for 5 hours. Yes, well said, mate. It proves on how even the government fact-check things that are incorrect. They still don't have a clue. Maybe you can bring that up in court. Go and, because you should, I hope you take this to court as a not guilty, and then you'll be going up as if you have to plead guilty, you can say at the end that it will be only upon the last asking Your Honour for the least possible leniency because of those reasons. And you're a bit of a go-getter. You try and help out. You can put out, you've written submissions into the government to try and help them. You're a long-term patient. You're experienced. You're, and you're not a lawbreaker. There's so many things that could make them possibly give your license back, or you'd be under the same that the Section 5 for the bloody drink driving thing, because I've had it a few times, where you can get the day licenses. So that would be, if the judge did have the most maximum outcome, would be you can drive during work hours and, to get to work and stuff, so you can't lose your job. So I hope that helps. But yes, you did right. It shows Australia's got, I reckon, at least 5 years, mate, until they're going to be, probably even until the end of this decade, until it'll be somewhat normal and there won't be none of this bullshit getting handed around. I like what he said there. The TGA's website says you can't drive for 5 days after your medical cannabis dose. 5 days, that's what they currently say. The government says that. And we all know it's 5 hours, mate. It's an insult. Or actually, it should be reworded, because it could be 8 to 10 hours if you take orally your dose. If you take oil or subliminals or anything like that under the tongue, it absorbs differently into your body system and lasts a lot longer. So that shows you how their professionals aren't professional in the area. But to conclude, at least they're trying. At least we have got medical cannabis approval. And it's legal in ACT. Aaron says, mate, if I don't own my own place, I would be able to move to Tassie. Yeah, well, I'd go for the day license in court. I'd be telling them how in Tasmania it's already legal. You're not trying to change the law. You know that the judge just upholds the law, but you'd like the least amount of penalty for that reason, that in other states this is not a crime, but in this state, you can't. They always say that, but Jeff, you should go live there, blah blah. But you just want to bring that up as a bit of a precedence. I just like this to be taken into consideration, Your Honour. So bloody anyway. Aaron says, but they won't change that word. Last time I got a lawyer. This time, as the law stands, I can't get a work license or even a special license. Really? Last time I got a lawyer, they won't change that word. So even drink drivers can be allowed to drive through the day under a work license, but medical cannabis drivers can't? Is that what you're saying? If that's true, I'd be putting a quick note to ABC News Studio. And that's a great story. If that's true, that means they're highly supporting alcohol use, and we know what alcohol does, compared to medical cannabis. God, see the reason why I don't get into politics and that type of stuff? It's a head bashing approach, isn't it? You get nowhere. It's no common sense. It's only to do, well, I can't even make sense out of it. It must be a money thing. Fair enough. But how about the decency of the person, though? Anyway. Well, I just feel sorry for you. That's why I just loved Canada. It was so free. Everyone knew about medical cannabis. People, when you talk about it, they don't turn the doctor down, or the doctor doesn't look upon bad to you. Where still in Australia, I've had some horrible outcomes and have to change doctors a few times because of the stigma that's attached to it, because they're uneducated in their sector and they're not willing to open their ears and keep their head out of the sand. Good luck to Australians. That's why it's a shame this show can't reach more people, because I'd really like to put out what the truth is and how these studies do have good impacts on our bodies and our animals' bodies, regardless of what's painted in the media and regardless what the medical doctors say. Because remember, medical doctors aren't taught about essential oils or about herbs, what medical cannabis is. They got no idea about it. They know that what drugs work and what you should take and what plants, they don't even know what plants you mix together to make the drugs that they give you. So that's the medical doctors. So that's the people that are most highly trusted in Australia at the moment in that area. And they know squat, they do a 4-hour course and they're legal to prescribe it. And that's their knowledge factor. And probably after that, they wouldn't have a clue. And the few I've talked to don't have a blooming clue. It's sad. It's supposed to be Australians that they're trying to make out that we're doing good, largest Australian medical cannabis market in the planet. Well, where's the education? Where's these people that are trying to get educated or trying to, pump out the good word? It annoys me because I really try, and the little audience that I get and the areas that I try and target, I just fall on deaf ears. It's a struggle. Oh, well. Aaron says, thank you, but no, please don't feel sorry for me as I feel sorry for everybody else who is really a legal medical cannabis criminal, just like me. Yeah, well, I still feel sorry for you because it just sucks that you have to be caught up in the bureaucracy where in 10 years' time, you look back and go, oh, wow, wasn't that the stupid law, the cops will say? And they'll be, well, we're just upholding the law at the present time, which they really are. But being in the grey area, it's different. But as far as driving, wow. Yeah. I don't know what to say. But Aaron, just sucks for you. All right, what else? Next week, I haven't got as much of a show as today because today I had some different slides and things that could be talked about and stuff like that, where next week it's a lot less. So I sort of made it a bit of a show today. Where's next week's? Oh gosh, yeah, I'll give you a bit of a squeeze and you can see, you can go, oh, I don't know if I should even watch next week. Well, you should, because I hope you do, because we're going to try and make it a show. And I'll make it an interesting fact-check show. See, there's not many slides here. The one thing is the bone improvements. There's a study that I'll be talking about, that they've got bone improvements from CBD and CBG, having those two things. So it seems like the THC combination kills cells and is good for cancer and that sort of stuff. But pretty much everything else that I've seen is a CBD, CBG combination. So there's a cultivar that has 6% CBG that, somebody had in the States that was cool. And that's got good implications for what's going to happen in the future, I reckon. It's all that CBG stuff. Hey, hello, 669 Monte Carlo. Cheers. You missed an informative show, mate. If you've got pets, you should rewatch it. Might even title that today, Pets. Yes, I should, because that's extremely important about how effective the dosages are with companion animals. Actually, it was only dogs and cats, didn't it? It didn't say anything about any goats or any other cool pets that people have. Yeah, well, I'm sure that it was on the, if you have a look back here, I'll just have a quick, it goes on the kilo ratings. So if you have got other pets, I'd be working off the kilo ratings and then doing your own experiments in that way. Because all the other mammals, they have the endocannabinoid system. So you can see that pretty much all these species in here are just dogs and cats. There's no other birds or anything like that. So you can read through here and you can see how the 2 milligrams per kilogram was used. So that would be something that I'd be starting out at. See, and I'm not medically trained, but I just know from studies. So all I can share is an instance like this, how they use 2 milligrams per kilo of different cannabinoids and what the outcomes were, because I'm just reading a study. And then I would just speak from my experiments. All right, well, I went and tried 2 milligrams per kilo, and it didn't work, or it had different effects. But it seems like that's a good starting rate. So you have to get your calculator out and do some good things, and then read this study as well, so you can work with all your other animals. Hello, Dr. Trichome. Long time old friend. This is Newts and Nugs. Oh, hello, Newts and Nugs. I know you, fella. I've smoked with you quite a few times. You're a, what do they call you over there? An Eastie on the East Coast. Anyway, I went on to say about people, locations. Today was a good one on the pets. I'm going to rename it Newts and Nugs on the pets, if that's what I was just talking about. And that's pretty much it. There was a little bit of controversy stuff at the start, which is all to do with Australia and how poor that they're going. But in general, yeah, I tried to keep it positive. And yeah, was just saying about that, about the Christmas stuff. And all right, I'm going to thank you for the 6 people watching. I like to share my medical cannabis experiences and slides and studies. So if you know anybody, can you please invite them into the show, and so I can get a bit more exposure, especially in Australia, because it seems like that's where it's needed. Everywhere else, they're doing all right. Not every, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's summarising the planet. But they're doing pretty good because they have accepted it. But especially Australia, where it needs a lot more education, it's, yeah, we need exposure somehow, where it seems it's just not happening. Like there was a lot of, like the proof today on the government website saying that cannabis lasts 5 days in your system, where it's 5 hours, you know, if you smoke it. Edibles probably twice as long. But it's, yeah, so just stuff like that. It's really, it's much needed in Australia, and it's, from what I see, it's just blooming needed. Hey, Aussie Jeffro, how you going, mate? Aussie Jeffro says, Merry Christmas to all. Much love and appreciation. Cheers. Nice to see you, Aussie Jeffro. Yeah, if we need cool people like that, so we can get it to the medical people like this, the companion study today about the pain modulation in animals. So when you go to your vet, they'll say, no, don't give it cannabinoids. Well, you can go, well, what do you think about this study that suggests this is the rates? And he'll go, well, yes, it's just a study, so they can see what's the outcome is. And they're just uneducated in that sector. So that's an example of how you can share it with the people to get the word out. And then they'll share it with their medical professionals, and all of a sudden it spreads the word, and you know, it goes viral, like, as you say. But yeah, because I don't know, I won't be doing this in 2025, I tell you, unless things change. Hello, Dave, 1969. Hope you, Aussie, have a great Christmas. Thanks, mate. I hope you do have a good Christmas too. Aaron says, thanks again for your great work you are doing on this cannabis subject. Take care and have a safe and Merry Christmas to everybody. Good on you, mate. Thanks, Aaron. You forgot something, Dr. Trichome. Yeah, at. Yeah. And that's all I can say without repeating myself. I'm still going to look on LinkedIn and get all the studies that I can relating to this topic. My my subject starting in a month's time is on plant breeding, and I'll be sharing a lot of those slides because that subject was written this year, and it'll be the latest of plant breeding stuff. So that's some good things that are coming up. Actually, I've got a good study too done in medical cannabis that they summarize all of the pathogens and what to look for, and there's heaps of photos. So that's going to come up in the first week in the new year. Yeah, I think it's 2 shows time. But I'm trying to keep the audience, trying to get the word out is more so the word, because we just need to spread the word, don't we? Us folk know, we understand these things, but the powers that be don't. Yeah, Biden does. Remember that? Oh, actually, I'm going to share that thought because I love that. I'll put that again. Even blimmin' Biden gets into it. Remember, like a few weeks ago, I shared, what was his name? Mike Tyson's Get Up and how he gets into it. Joe Belushi, and he's getting into it too. Look at Biden, just loving life. When have you seen him smile like that? Only after he's gone and had a little bit of his oil. Did you know Queen Victoria used to take the oil for her menstrual cramps too? Oh, look at that. Oh, it does smell funky. Yes. Yay. Cheers. Good on you, Biden. He's doing the right thing for the country. He really is. I've read some really good stuff about him, about how he's helping the community embrace it, not just capitalize on it. It's cool. Good old Joe Biden. Dr. Tricam says, great live, fam. Hope to see more of your streams. Thanks, mate. I hope you join more as well. And others. And spread the word. So that'll make it good. Last week wasn't the best. I just between me and you, I didn't have any feedback or comments like in the where our people have written today. There was no one. It was just something new. I could get used to it though, because I'm just here to spread the good word about medical cannabis. I don't expect people to watch or anything like that, but I just try, because I think this is my bit for trying. All right, that's enough. We've been going for an hour 16. Wow, do I appreciate everybody who's listened, and I really appreciate people for writing in too. Thanks again. I hope to see you all next week. Safe holidays, safe. And the thing with the holidays too, try for someone who hasn't got many friends or those types of persons. I used to, this might sound real kooky, but I used to go, I've done this a few times for the homeless people. I made up a few cards, like in Canada. Should show the photos of them all. I made up some cards and I put, I think, $5 or $10 note into 5 of them and drove around the town and rolled 2 joints into them, and a bag that I got from I got these few bags from some nutrition company, and I put it all in one, and their faces was just, it made me cry. So it's good to think of those people who aren't as opportunistic as we are and yeah, would really appreciate that stuff. And it boosted my, not self-confidence, what's that word? Boosted my happiness inside from making them happy. Well, I did cry. I cried. They didn't even cry. I did. But it was just really cool to show that, from a little bit of thinking about people and bringing happiness, it brings back happiness to you. That's all I was saying. So try and think of the people who are less fortunate than us, and yeah, maybe do something like that. Thanks again. Really nice words coming through. Thank you. Catch some waves for me. Catch some. I'll tell you that. Yes, I got a story on that one, mate. Aaron says, yes, it will be my New Year's resolution. Yeah, just to think of people who are less fortunate than us and make their day. And then it makes your day. It's pretty cool how good energy can be passed on. And you create it. Nice note to leave on. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you for listening and commenting. Hope you have a fantastic Christmas. Happy holidays to you and really safe travels. And I'll see you next week. Happy breeding, happy growing, and good health to you all. Bye-bye.